A stunner in the boxing world on Saturday night is Ryan Garcia, a massive underdog, upset Devin Haney to win a majority decision in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. So let's break it down. We're going to do it with a great writer and editor for DAZN Boxing, my guy Mark Lelinwalla, who joins me now. Mark, what's going on? I know you had a busy night on Saturday night with this fight. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Dexter. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm still stunned about this fight and how this all played out. And, Mark, considering everything that we knew going into this fight with Garcia failing to make weight on Friday and questions surrounding his mental health before the bout, Garcia's victory over Devin Haney was one of the most unexpected results that we've seen lately, I think, of people who watch the sport. Garcia knocked Haney down 3 times in this fight. From your perspective, what were the key factors that led to Garcia's dominant performance here?
Yeah, absolutely unexpected. There was a lot of things that Ryan Garcia did exceptionally well. He was patient with his left hook. We saw a higher, tighter guard. And that power, you can't account for that. It's hard to account for that, rather. And all of those things led to a shocking upset, one of the more shocking upsets that we've seen recently.
Yeah, hard to say it's not one of the more shocking upsets that we have seen recently. And, you know, look, he was on it from the start here, Mark, okay? He was on it from the start, from the first round. He was all over Haney. Could you break down Garcia's approach in this fight, and how did his tactics and execution differ from his past performances?
Yeah. That first round, let's start right there. He unloads a left hook and immediately wobbles Devin Haney, right? His legs are immediately shaky, and you see him being aggressive but also composed and measured. If you look back to last year around this time and the fight he had against Gervonta Davis, he was a little bit overzealous, and we've seen him more calm and composed in this fight, and I think that's a big salute to him. It shows some growth in a big way, and it helped him to be victorious on Saturday night.
Yeah, composed is definitely, I feel like, the right word for him in this fight, because he looked completely in control, looked confident, was aggressive, but not over-aggressive, as you talked about in his previous fight that we saw last year. Devin Haney, I want to talk about him because he came into this fight with a lot of confidence, right? Solid track record. Where do you think that things went wrong for him, and what could he have done differently in terms of his approach to this fight?
Yeah, good question. I think he recovered quite well from that first round and being on those shaky legs. And I think he took over the fight second round through the 6th. The 7th round, when he got caught with that left hook, he admittedly fell asleep on that left hook. And what's ironic about that is, in part of the buildup, he was telling Ryan Garcia that all you have is a left hook. So that couldn't have happened. That shouldn't have happened, right? And he usually has a very sound guard, but he lowered that right hand, giving Ryan Garcia that open lane repeatedly over the course of that fight. So he abandoned part of his defense, and give Ryan Garcia credit for that, of course, in setting up that left hook with extremely fast twitch power and explosiveness. But Devin Haney had to resume his ring generalship, which we didn't see in the latter stages of that fight.
No, we did not see that at all, and it wasn't what I think many people expected to see from him, at least in terms of his defense against Garcia. For Haney, just sticking with him, what looks to be the best path forward to reclaim his position at the top of this sport? Does he need to run this back and have a rematch with Garcia? Is that the next move for him?
I think that's the best move for him. If he could run this back and make the proper adjustments to show how great he is, right? That would be a major move for him career-wise, and just for himself to get that confidence back, because he was really battered on Saturday night. Make no mistakes about it. He could do that, or if he feels like that matchup, the style just is not in his favor, he could elect to just get back in the mix. He still has his belt because of Ryan Garcia not making weight. So he could resume as far as making his next title defense and with another opponent. So what's more at stake is if he could prove to himself, first and foremost, and the boxing world, that he could make the adjustments to beat a Ryan Garcia and soundly, that would go a long ways for his profile, for his legacy with Devin Haney.
Yeah, and I think people are going to want to see that rematch, right? That question is going to be out there. Can he make the adjustments? If he fights Garcia again, and will he be able to get a win in that situation? So we'll see. I want to go back to Garcia here, Mark, because from his perspective, he's shaking up the super lightweight division with this victory. What's next for him, and should a rematch with Haney be of interest to him, or should he be looking elsewhere?
Yeah, so the plus side of him doing the rematch is he could make weight this time, and possibly if he beats Haney again as convincingly, especially, he would boost his own profile, and he would become formally a world champion, right? So that's what's in it for him. Also, the payday would be a boost up, which would be excellent. But yesterday, last night, he did say in the post-fight press conference that his body can't handle making 140 pounds anymore. So if he is to move up to welterweight, that could be the next move. And there's a lot of options there for him that he could sit back with his team and choose the proper path to get started at 147 pounds. So he could do one of two things. I guess if he's so definitive of that he can't make this weight, perhaps the Haney rematch is not in the cards. He could also, what possibly is out there is maybe a catch weight fight with Gervonta Tank Davis to run their fight back as a rematch. That would be, their first fight was a big box office smash, and the second one would be that much more after Garcia's performance against Haney. So.
Yeah, that would be one. I didn't even think about that, him having a catchweight fight with Tank. That would be a very interesting matchup, too. Last thing for me here, Mark, how does Garcia's upset victory over Haney alter the landscape of the super lightweight division? What do you think that this upset could mean for the sport going forward?
Well, it was a whirlwind from the start with this buildup, not knowing where Ryan Garcia is mentally, right? Is he sharp? Is he sharp enough? Is he prepared enough to do this? And then he does it so emphatically that it does shake up that division. I think a lot of it is, yesterday Oscar De La Hoya said that he calls the shots now. And I think a lot of that is true. He could shake up the division by staying there and making weight and dominating, if he could do that. Or he could shake up the division by leaving after this performance and going to 147, where that would give Devin Haney a chance to reassert himself as possibly the best at super lightweight at 140 pounds. So I think a lot of it rides on Garcia's next move, and he's earned this right based off of that performance on Saturday night.
Yeah, I think he definitely has, and I would agree with De La Hoya that he holds the cards here. He really holds the cards and how these things can move forward with that. But look, upset fight, I think it was one that not many people in boxing saw coming. Ryan Garcia with the upset victory over Devin Haney in Brooklyn on Saturday night. That is Mark Lelinwalla, the great writer and editor for DAZN Boxing. Mark, always good to talk some boxing with you. Can't wait to talk with you about the next big fight coming up. We'll do that soon.
Likewise. Hope to do that soon. Thanks a lot, Dave.
Thank you, my man.